Good afternoon and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to the One Line Racing Center Lamborghini GT3 Huracan Championship. It's time for the championship decider. It's the third of 3 weeks that we are racing. We're going to decide who is going to become our last champion of 2024. Welcome everyone, my name is Dan Papels. I will be guiding you through all the action of tonight. I'm looking forward to conclude the Huracán GT3 Open League here on the 24th of December. So let's take a little look back into the past. It's of course the first time this series is broadcasted. We had 4 rounds before we arrived at Brands Hatch here today for a season closer. We're gonna have 2 rounds tonight. We're starting off here at Brands Hatch GP and moving on later to the Nürburgring GP track as the last track of the championship. If we look at how the previous meetings have resulted, we can see that round 1 was won by Chase Black at Monza. Round 2 was won by Anthony Wen at Barcelona, but Joey Dom has been on a streak lately. Did the Grand Slam just a week ago at the Red Bull Ring, and at Spa he won both races. That means full 50 points for him for those rounds. That in turn means that if Joey wins here tonight and Tony finishes P3 or worse in both races, then Joey takes the championship home. Let's look at our competitors for tonight then. Here is our main championship protagonist, Joey Dom in the number 77. The predominantly yellow and green liveried Lamborghini in the field here today. Currently in P2, just behind Anthony Wen, who's right behind him in the black and orange liveried Lamborghini. Then currently in P3 is someone who you might know from the real life racing scene. Is certainly someone who I know very, very well. And he will appear as a guest drive for tonight. It's Edo Spiezia in P3 on a 1:26.899. Currently 8 tenths off of someone who we almost see competing at the One Line Racing Center week in, week out. Anthony Wen. And Spiezia himself, of course, raced in the Next Gen Cup in 2023. He's been getting his feet into rallycross lately too. Did Nitro Cross earlier on in the year. Most lately has been driving with Rally Ready. So he's been He's been finding his groove on looser surfaces, as we say. So I'm interested to see what Ellis Piezia can do against these extremely fast sim racing drivers. We know he's quick, competed earlier in the year at Fuji in the Nissan R34 GTR. I think he closed that race off in a P2 finish. If he could repeat that tonight, that for sure would be a heck of a drive for Ellis. Then, currently in fourth is AJ Masek, also a name that seems to be repeated almost every week here at One Line Racing Center. It's Dax Brown in P5. As it stands, if my championship standings are correct, he finds himself in P2 in the championship. Then it's Taft Bradley in P6. It's Royce Whiteley in P7. And it's Andrew Berrien in P8. That's our competitors for tonight. We're in qualifying for the first race of this evening at Brands Hatch. We're looking at AJ Masek, who's driving in the 2022 outfit of Emil Frey back in the Fanatec GT World Challenge. That car seated numerous amounts of Swiss drivers and also a very quick Italian driver that year in the name of Mirko Bortolotti, who won the DTM Championship most lately in 2024. If AJ Masek can live up to the speed that that livery was used to in 2022, we'll for sure see him at the front of the field most of the evening. Here is Dax Brown. He finds himself in P5 and in the barrier. As an off track, has to stay out of the way of oncoming traffic. That's Taft Bradley, who he has to stay out of the way of. Quite some time to find out there for Bradley. 4.6 seconds off of our current pole sitter, Anthony Wine. Ellis Piezia has found himself up into P2, 126.209. A tenth and a half, just a little bit under that, away from Anthony Wen. There's Andrew Berrien down in P7. Let's see if he can improve this time round. Needs an improvement desperately. Also 4.7 seconds off. We're used to that gap being a lot less for Andrew. Cross the line this time. Still quickest lap time 1:30.7. Gonna have to find an improvement this time round. He is our provisional pole sitter. He's finding his way through Sterling's, through clearways into Clark Curve. Last proper corner on the track, leading on to the Brabham Straight. And onto the start-finish stripe across the line. Can he improve? Anthony Wen could use an improvement here. A lot less comfortable in P1 than I think he is hoping for. Has an off moment coming through Paddock Hill Bend. So there won't be an improvement this time round either. That leaves the door open for drivers like Joey Dom and Ellis Piezia to find their way ahead of Anthony. First up to try and beat Anthony is Joey Dom. He has a massive toe coming on to the start-finish line. Can he use it? Yes, he can. Goes up into P2 with that. No further than that either. That's the reset back to pit lane. A 126.11 will do nicely for Joey Dom. Will put him on the front row of the field. Can La Spezia respond? Needs around the 10th to go ahead, to go back ahead of Joey Dom. La Spezia across the line this time. Can't make it. Stays on a 126.209. The GT Omega Racing livery tonight. Here is that predominantly yellow and green livery. There's a bit of blue in there too for Joey Dom. But he is our closest challenger to Anthony Wen. See if he can find his way onto the provisional pole. Looks like quite a scruffy lap so far from Joey. Has at least one more attempt in him. Coming across the stripe this time. Through Clark onto Brabham. And no improvement for Joey. Usually it's around this time that Anthony puts in a lap time that we think, wow, that was not expected and that looks unbeatable almost. A little bit wide, going through 30s for Joey. So this might not be the lap either. On to Hawthorne. The little Derek Minter straight in between Hawthorne Bend and Westfield Bend. Then Dingledale, the dip down the hill. Then Sheeney's uphill, turn 7. One of the best corners on the track. Blind exit through Sterling's, the left-hander, turn 8 on the track. A nice slipstream for Joey Dom to take advantage of. Through turn 9, Clark curve, back onto the Brabham straight. Still profiting off that toe of La Spezia ahead. Across the line for Joey Dom, and that's enough, does enough. A 125.771. And that for sure will be pole if Anthony Wen can't answer that now. Has 16 seconds left to make it to the line to try and get another lap in. He's not going to make that. Neither is he going to make it this time round. This is not going to be an improvement. La Spezia is the last one who can unsettle Joey Dom. But the driver who's won the previous 2 rounds is looking to continue the way he did at Spa. Provisional pole for Joey Dom. La Spezia looks like the only driver able to cause an upset here. The 46 is currently going down to Dingledale, up through Sheeney's. A bit of an oversteer moment for Ellis. Through clearways now. Doesn't look like the tidiest lap for Ellis. Through Clark curve, onto the straight, across the line. Can he take pole? The answer is no, he can't. He stays on the second row of the grid in P3. Joey Dom has taken the pole position for the first race at Brands Hatch. There are other drivers still out on track, but nowhere near the sector times they need to take that pole away from Joey Dom. That was qualifying. And Joey Dom has taken the pole, does what he needs to do. Joey needs Anthony to finish third or lower. But he needs Ellis, ideally, to get ahead of Anthony. We know from previous experiences that Anthony has been quite inconsistent at times. So for Anthony, that is not the case tonight. Joey Dom at the front of the field, though, will be hoping for the opposite. He's hoping for a mega start off the second row from Ellis and AJ to shoot past Anthony immediately at the green flag. But winning this first race at Brands Hatch will at least make sure that he is taking it to the last race at the Nürburgring GP. And as long as he does that, everything can happen. Alright then, let's get going for the race. We have a minute for everyone to grid, for everyone to get ready. One time through the grid then, it's Joey Dom at the front of the field together with Anthony Nguyen on the front row. Ellis Pietzi and AJ Masek fill the second row of the grid. Royce Whitley and Dax Brown fill the third row on the grid. Andrew Berrien and Taft Bradley on the last row of the grid. The 6 red lights are on. As soon as they're out of racing, that's now. It's a good start for Joey Dom. It's a good start for Ellis Pietzi too. Can he challenge? Anthony went to turn 1. No, he can't. Whitley challenges Ellis Pietzi into turn 1 though. Ellis is down into P5. Joey Dom has kept the lead off the start. Anthony went in P2. This is a dream scenario for Anthony. Then it's Royce Whitley in P3, I was going to say, but he's made a mistake. That's a mistake coming out of, or going into Surtees onto Cooper Straight. And he is at the back of the field now. That means Ellis up to P4. And Dax Brown into P3. Still crucially for the championship though, Anthony Nguyen. Still in P2 behind Joey Dom. This is where he's going to look to keep that car for the remainder of the race. Try to pressurize Joey. Joey isn't the perfect driver either. We've seen him make mistakes in the past too. As Ellis finds his way past Dax Brown. These two are going to fight all the way into Clark Curve. The inside line, the preferred one. And Ellis takes that place away from Dax Brown. Gap has already opened up to 4 seconds almost to the top 2. Oh, that's a moment for both of the drivers. Ellis manages to keep it going somehow. But Dax Brown is down into 7th place with that moment. That promotes AJ Masek up to where he started. Andrew Berrien finds his way somehow into P5-2. Takes Bradley into 6th. Then Dax Brown and Royce Whitley in 7th and 8th. Both drivers having made a mistake. Dax Brown, though, making short work of Taft Bradley. Joey Dom at the front of the field, also running away from Anthony Wen. Race has settled down a bit now. Both races, this one and the one at the Nürburgring GP, will be 30 minutes long. We'll have a 15-minute qualifying session to decide the grid at Nürburgring. Joey Dom, naturally, when I have a feeling, will be around this close for the remainder of this evening. Slowly but surely, Joey is opening up that gap. Seems like Joey is quicker in the first and middle sector, but Anthony claws it back in the last one. I say that though, and there's the moment. There's that little mistake, gap up to 2 seconds. Joey Dom has his breathing room. Nothing crazy now, Joey here. Get this to the line in somewhat of a comfortable pace. You've got 2.4 seconds. Anthony will be pushing to claw back some time here. Gap to Ellis is also coming down in P3. AJ Masek in 4th, then Andrew Berrien in 5th. Dax Brown behind him in P6. Then Taft Bradley in 7th. And Royce Whitley in 8th. 18 seconds back of Taft Bradley. Something I for sure didn't expect coming into this evening. But the mistakes on the opening lap costing Royce dearly in this race already. Race almost over before it even began. On board with Dax Brown chasing down Andrew Berrien, the 22 ahead of us. We begin our run down from Paddock Hill Bend. A tighter line from Dax Brown here. Not quite using all the track available to him on the exit. Probably carry a bit more speed through their next lap. Through Druids. Into turn 3. And turn 3 is really a difficult one. Downhill braking zone. The camber is all on the inside. So running in there side by side with another driver. If you are not on the inside, you're pretty much either going to be pushed out on the exit onto the grass, or you're not even going to be able to hang your way around. Because all of that camber is on the inside, and as soon as you are offset, I would say, by about half a meter, you're gonna have a nightmare through turn 3. Luckily for Dax Brown, chasing down Andrew Berrien, the dirtier in these Huracan GT3s, is second to none. That's why this GT3 class is usually such a great class to race in. Always close racing for sometimes hours and hours on end in longer endurance races. And you don't really have any disadvantage or any benefits from running in the tow, except the fact that you're able to save fuel. That's not a thing here this evening. No fuel saving needed for these drivers. It's full push from lights to flag. And the moment those lights went out is already about 8 minutes ago here. Meanwhile, the gap at the front of the field is up to 3 seconds. Biggest I've seen it is about 3.4. LSPHS keeping that gap to Anthony Wen about the same as it was a lap or 3 or 4 ago, 4.5 seconds. Consistency is all that Ellis can do here. So I'm also back with live pictures. We're looking still at that battle between Andrew Berrien. This is the closest battle we have on track. Dax Brown on the gearbox of Andrew. These two in pace are quite similar. I have a feeling they could provide us with quite the action here. Anthony Wen has gone past Joey Dome. What's happened there? Oh no, Joey Dome, our championship protagonist, has gone off. That is coming out of Sheeney's. I told you it was such a tricky point on the circuit. That dip down into Dingledale, and then Sheeney's up the hill, blind exit, dropping the wheel onto the grass could be deadly. And that is indeed the case. And now, championship favor turns to Anthony Wen. Another off moment for Joey Dunn, from bad to worse. AJ Masek now up onto the podium. No, this is high-end drama at Brands Hatch. If there was any chance for Joey Dom to defeat the almost invincible Anthony Wen, it was this time. But he spoiled it for himself. Dax Brown has a look up the inside of Berrien into turn 4 Surtees. Allows him the room. Respectful and great racing between these two. Better exits out of turn 4 for Berrien. Allows him to run onto the straight into Holothorns. Has a look, Dax, but not really a corner where you can now break someone. More speed taken into Westfield Bend. We go into that dip Dingledale. This is where Joey Dunn went off through Sheeney's on the left-hand side, dropped the wheel onto the grass, and found himself in the gravel trap. Dax Brown and Andrew Berrien have to make sure they don't do the same. Anthony Wen now at the front of the field, and Ennis Spezia in a P2. Told you he could repeat what he did at Fuji in the Nissan R34 GTR. And if he can stay consistent, he might be able to capitalize off something happening up ahead. And maybe even take a victory home here. Oh, here comes Joey Dom, pressurizing AJ Masek into that mistake. Through Westfields, and yeah, it's hard and fair racing from Joey Dom. Through Dingledale, up through Sheenies, and this time he keeps it on the track, but AJ Masek somehow just feeling the pressure of Joey Dom on his bumper. Went wide twice in a row and drops back to P4. Not the end of the world though for AJ Masek. Dax Brown had another look at Andrew Berrien. Bit of a moment coming through Sheenies. No, AJ Masek's made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped back into this battle now. It's a three-car battle between Berrien and Masek and Brown. And where Brown has been looking at the rear of that red and white Lamborghini, he's now looking at a blue and green one. From the Emil Frey outfit. Gap slowly but surely opening back up. Seriously impressed by the pace that Ennis Spezia is able to show us here this evening. Of course, we know that Ellis himself does a bit of sim racing at home too, or at least did for the longest time, but to rock up to the One Line Racing Center for only your second time in racing situation, and to put in the same amount or the same lap times as someone like Anthony Wen, who I assume has the One Line Racing Center as almost his second home, his home away from home, is seriously impressive. Shows you what these racing drivers are made of. Here comes AJ Masek after his mistakes, now trying to regain some positions. Andrew Berrien is the next one on his list, and he takes that one comfortably. Outbreaks him going into Hawthorne Bend. This is the battle at the back of the field between Taft Bradley and Royce Whitley. Taft Bradley in the yellow, blue, pink, orange. About every color imaginable in the rainbow in there. Royce Whitley gets through. Taft Bradley to last place in the field now. Contact between Dax Brown. Finds himself in the wall. Andrew Berrien is in the wall with him too. Waits for Andrew Berrien to at least rejoin right in front of him. That's great sportsmanship by Dax Brown here. But the damage is already done to Andrew Berrien. But the battle continues. Next battle that will be brewing might be Joey Dom and Ellis Spezia. Joey Dom is gaining hand over fist on Ellis now. Anthony and Joey have been tightening the thumb screws a little over the last couple of laps. But our leader, once again, it wasn't expected when Joey Dom got out in front. But once again, we find ourselves in a position where Anthony Wen is leading the way. .5 seconds is the gap that Ellis has over Joey. See that Dax Brown has also dropped off the back of Andrew Berrien now. That gap is also 2 seconds. Let's see if he can close that back up. That'll give us an indication of what Dax Brown's pace might be like in clean air. I haven't quite been able to see that yet from Dax. He's been behind Andrew Berrien for as long as I can remember in this race. Dax Brown is able to close that gap quite comfortably. I think if Dax gets past here on Andrew Berrien, he might be off into the distance, chasing down AJ Masick for 4th, but he has to get past first, and that shows you once again that catching up's one thing, but getting past is a completely different trick. Still the gap at the front now, 7 seconds. Ellis keeping that gap to Anthony Wen the same. Joey Dom in P3. Closing the gap now to 3 seconds on Ellis Spezia. Slowly but surely eking his way in. Fourth is still AJ Masick, 25, a massive 25 seconds back on Joey Dom. It's quite incredible, the pace of the three at the front. Andrew Berrien in 5th has been caught once again by Dax Brown. Will be our closest battle in the field for, I don't know, half of this race at least. Let's see if Dax can get past this time round. 8 minutes left here in this race before we take a short break and then go to the Nürburgring GP. Andrew Berrien. You can see he isn't impressed at all by the rate that Dax Brown is catching him. And now he gets the cut back, the run on to Brabham Straight. But once again, he just can't get past Andrew Berrien. Dax Brown, now might be his moment. It's not really a corner where you outbrake someone. He's going to try it though. He's going to look for the inside. And like I said, it's Andrew Berrien who's defending like a lion. Not impressed at all by Dax Brown looking at the inside. Keeps his normal racing line. It's almost as if he doesn't even look in the mirrors when Dax is behind him, knowing he doesn't need to. Oh, there's the mistake, and now he's passed. Now he's passed. He does get... The pressure does get to him in the end. Andrew Berrien was keeping up with that pressure so well for most of that race. But right at the death of it, he makes the mistake that Brown was looking for, and he's now off. Andrew Berrien, luckily for him, is able to keep at least P6. This is the battle now for second place, crucial in the championship. Joey Dom on the back of Ellis Spezia. Battle for P2 and 3. All the points gained, and it's 3 points to be exact. Might well be enough for Joey Dom to at least take it to the Nürburgring GP track. But La Spezia is not going to hand it to him. He's not going to roll over and get his tummy tickled. That's not the way La Spezia does things. But here comes the run from Joey Dom, looking for the outside and Clark curve. Better exit for Ellis though. Holds his car to the inside for Parakill Bend. The outside, surely not for Joey Dom. Once again, the inside for Drew. It's cut off by Ellis Spezia. If Joey Dom's going to do it, he's going to have to do it the long way round, and he does. Carries it the long way round of Drew. It's into turn 3, the inside for Joey Dom, and that is a textbook pass from Joey Dom when he needs it most. And remember, Ellis Spezia has no slouch either, so to go around the outside of him, you have to be a big one. But this fight is not over yet. Ellis Spezia looking to come back on Joey. He knows that P1 is out of the realm of possibilities if nothing crazy happens with Anthony Wen. He knows that P2 is the best achievable. But he also knows that if something goes wrong here, he has about a 34-second gap to fall back into. So the risk versus reward is I take a lot of risk because not much can happen really. But it looks like Joey Dom's got his break here now. But what a move outside of Druids, carrying it the long way round. And then the inside for turn 3. As I said, the much more favorable line. But it looks like it's going to be a P3 for Ellis Spezia. We're on the second to last lap of this race. But it's been a masterclass so far by Anthony Wen. The pace might have been for Joey Dom, but pace is only one such thing. You won't win races by being the quickest. You'll win races by being quick and consistent and not making mistakes. And where I mentioned that Anthony was quite prone to mistakes sometimes, it is Anthony who's stayed clean for 99% of the laps and hasn't made any big mistakes, and that in the end is what's going to give him this victory here. He's on the final lap. White flags out for Anthony. One last time into Hawthorne. On to Derek Minter, then Westfield Bend. Down into Dingle Dell. Up into Sheeney's. Make sure you keep it clean through there, no risk. Because you've already got the biggest reward where you are at the minute. Anthony went through Sterling, successful one last time. One last time through Clark Curve. And Anthony Wen is going to do what Anthony Wen does best, and that is win at Brands Hatch. A masterclass by Anthony Wen. Joey Dom recovers the P2. Overtakes Ellis Spezia 2 laps before the end with a brilliant move around the outside of Druids. And it's Ellis Spezia who completes the podium. Only 9.7 seconds off of Anthony. And that in itself is an achievement already. AJ Masek had some mistakes in there, but the pace was relentless. Too relentless for him from the top 3. He's gonna be a good while back of those 3. He's gonna be 44 seconds back of the lead. Oh, there's drama. It's Tough Bradley who's in trouble. But Dax Brown comes through after chasing that Andrew Berrien for so long in P5 ahead of Andrew Berrien. Once he got into clean air, no one could stop him, but he sadly also couldn't quite catch up to AJ Masek. And then it's Andrew Berrien in P6 and Tough Bradley in P8. That is Brands Hatch for you. We'll take a short little break for these drivers and get ready